Okay. This. And we are going live.
Walking through the park on a late afternoon with a smile on my face, knowing that I get to see you soon, in any time or any place, waiting for something to catch my eye. Gone and I don't get to say goodbye. I see you in a smile, I see you in some eyes, I see you with everything and nothing at the same time. I see you in a laugh on a cloudy day as I watch you chase the clouds away from me, babe. I see you in everything. Walking through the city on a quiet night. Maybe I'll sit on this bench and watch the sea till the morning light. Let it pour down on me, 'cause at least Mother Nature's got some sympathy for me. I see you in a smile, I see you in some eyes, I see you in everything and nothing at the same time. I see you in a laugh on a cloudy day as I watch you chase the clouds away from me, baby. I see you in everything. I see you in a smile, I see you in some eyes, I see you in a laugh on a cloudy day as I watch you chase the clouds away from me, baby. I see you in everything, I see you in a smile, I see you in some eyes, I see you in everything and nothing at the same time. I see you in a laugh on a cloudy day as I watch you chase the clouds away from me, baby.
All right, guys, we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? Good to see everybody in chat. We are doing a watch party tonight for the Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Thank you guys again for joining us. Along with me here is our good friend of the channel, Canon Collector Mike. Mike, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm good, man. Glad to be here.
It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. We are going to be doing a ton of stuff with Mike, hopefully, on this channel. We have a podcast, hopefully, in the works. Potentially some details coming a little bit later on in the stream. We still have to figure some of that stuff out, too. So, but anyway, guys, good to see everybody here once again. We are just getting all set up. If anything audio-wise or video-wise happens, please let us know. As well, guys, as far as the stream goes, we are going to be syncing up. Keep watching. If anything happens to the stream, we will jump back on as soon as we can and run right back into the film. So no worries there. But anyway, Mike, how we doing? How we doing tonight? We're doing good? Oh, man. We got this is like a reporter. You ever see a field reporter live? I used to work in television news, and this would happen quite often. So, little delays, little things going on. This is why we are. There we go. We got Mike. So, how is everybody in chat doing? Everybody doing good? How's everybody tonight? Let's see some comments. Let's see some stuff, people. Getting some lag. Yeah, a little bit of lag. I'm trying to refine some of the stream stuff to make sure that we are okay. But once again, guys, if anything should happen to the stream, once we sync the movie, keep going with us, and we'll jump back in as soon as we can. We're going to be having some drinks as well here, so if you guys let us know in the chat what you guys are drinking. There we go. I got myself a nice shock top. Mike, what are you drinking tonight?
I have a vodka soda canteen.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
I have some Fireball as well for when Jar Jar appears.
I got the double decker for that.
Oh, nice. I got myself some Gatorade as well. Got to stay hydrated. Make sure you are all drinking responsibly. Yeah, so what's going on in Star Wars lately? How did we feel about the Mandalorian Season 2, Mike?
I loved it. We've talked about this before, but I grew up playing, the Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy games. It felt a lot like that, kind of like different missions, and it was cool to see that from a perspective with, no Jedi and going into it, just like the first season, so...
Yeah.
And of course the ending, which I don't want to spoil for
for people who are not caught up yet. Yeah, there are some people who are still not caught up on the end of Mandalorian Season 2. Unfortunate as that may be. But I think the internet probably did a pretty good job spoiling that. So if it does come up at some point tonight, just be warned, guys. All spoilers are valid at this point. We're how many weeks are we out from the end of Mandalorian Season 2? Like almost a month now, right?
That was in December, right? It
wasn't
in January, right?
Yeah. So spoilers for that. We'll keep if you guys are Marvel fans, we'll keep the WandaVision spoilers to a minimum, because we'll respect that until that show is over. But that show is going crazy as well. Mike, you been keeping up with that too?
Well, I haven't watched today's episode, but last week's episode. Something else. It's
pretty crazy.
So good.
This show is crazy. I'm absolutely loving that show. I was a little hesitant at first, and I think it was just because Marvel shows we've had such a lag, not just with shows, with all Marvel content in general. So it's been nice to finally get back in the swing, but it did take me a couple weeks to get there. So I was able to binge watch like 4 of the episodes, I think, all in one day. So that was very nice. But I highly recommend, if you guys aren't caught up on that show yet, definitely go and binge watch it. You have a good chunk to catch up on, so it definitely plays well. Very, very happy to see that. And then we have the Winter Soldier and Falcon show starts going live, like I think a week or so after the WandaVision ends, so that's going to be nuts. This is just an embarrassment of riches if you are a Disney geek.
One of the first movies I ever saw. You know, my dad introduced me to it, as I'm sure most of our parents have. You know, when we were younger. You know, I think one of the one episode 5. You know, with of course the Vader father reveal, but also episode 6 when you know, when Luke takes off the helmet. You know, I think those are two very cinematic moments, you know, in my childhood, and that's, I think, they resonated with me so well. Just growing up, the toys, the clone gunships, the all the Jedi coming in the packaging, you know, and I don't know, I just always loved it, but I love just the world and getting to know the politics, and so on. I just love being invested in the world. I don't care what story it is.
Yeah.
I'm there for the ride, you know. So.
What are your thoughts on the prequels? Are you a pro prequel guy or are you an anti prequel dude?
Dude, if you're an anti prequel dude, you need to grow up, man. Like, come on. I love the prequels. They're good. I mean, you know, like I said, people would shit on them, but as a whole, you know, great story.
Yeah.
Great overarching story.
So you are a big fan of Phantom Menace. You love Jar Jar. You're a big fan of Jar Jar.
Well, I know we've had our heated discussions in the past about Darth Jar Jar and
so I know that we'll probably get into the Darth Jar Jar theory because I am pretty anti Darth Jar Jar. So how does chat feel
I'll be
about
like Charlie Day with that meme, you know, where they're in the mailroom trying to explain all that.
Carol? Pepe Sylvia, I got boxes of Pepe. So before we get going here, chat, let us know how you feel about Darth Jar Jar. Definitely want to get a gauge for the room to see how people feel, if they are pro Darth Jar Jar or if they think that George Lucas was not intending that. So make sure to send that in chat and let us know. But we are going to get going here in just a little bit. So the way that this is going to work, guys, is that I am currently loading up... it's real bright. I am currently loading up a timer for us. So we are going to sync up our movie with this little timer here. So you see the little red timer right up there? I'm trying to see if I can point to it, like right up above kind of where my finger is. That timer will be going off right when I click start for our movie, so you guys can sync up your movie. If you're a little ahead or a little behind, feel free to pause and kind of sync it up to that clock. Hopefully things will be good. If anybody's having trouble with that, please let us know in chat, and we'll do what we can from here to try to help you. But anyway, like I said before, if anything should happen to the stream, if this thing goes down or if jittery jumpiness happens, just stay with us. We will get the stream back up and running as soon as possible, but keep your movie going. So do not stop it. Once we start this thing up, we're just going to go for it. So no stopping. Make sure, guys, as well, make sure you're commenting in here. Let us know what you're thinking of the movie while we're watching it, and all your opinions are totally valid, whether you love or you hate the prequels. But let's try to keep things a little civil, because the prequels are pretty good. We're a Star Wars channel. We like the prequels, and we think you should too. So hopefully, if you are an anti-prequel person, hopefully we're going to change your mind tonight. So stick with us, and yeah. So, Mike, are you about ready to do this thing?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always ready to watch Star Wars.
All right, boys. So here we go. I am going to get everything good to go here. I think we're ready. And everybody ready in chat? Everybody ready to start this bad boy up? I'll give us a little countdown, and then we will start this puppy. All right. All right, everybody. Here we go. In 3. So 3, 2, 1, go. That's what we'll do. 3, 2, 1, go. All right? Nobody... want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Here we go, guys, in 3. All right, I think this is pretty synced up. We are looking at the 20th Century Fox logo right now. Lucasfilm Ltd. In a galaxy far, far. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. We all missed the 2-1. Sorry, guys. Sync yourselves up with the clock right here. We are currently at 1 minute. Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. The taxation of trade routes to the outer star systems is in dispute. With a blockade of deadly battleships, the greedy Trade Federation has stopped all shipping to the small planet Naboo. While the Congress of the Republic endlessly debates this alarming chain of events, the Supreme Chancellor has secretly dispatched 2 Jedi Knights, the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy, to settle the conflict. Hope everybody's ready. Hope everybody is prepared for
I wish
episode
they
1.
spent 20 minutes to go into the tax rates of the Trade Federation.
Oh man, you know, this is something that I definitely think is not, is not a-okay with the prequels. It's a little too much, right? It's a little too much too soon.
Give us a spin-off series of that, Give just the politics. West Wing, but Coruscant.
Well, the good thing about the Canon Collector channel, you can go check out all of our plot summaries, and we have a bunch of stuff pre-prequels, and it kind of does go a bit of the politics.
Well, that's cool.
All right, we are looking at the Trade Federation command ship. Make sure to grab your drinks, boys. If there is a specific drinking game you want to play, make sure to let us know the rules in chat, guys. I know that some of you guys out there are playing a little drinking game, so feel free to key us in, and we'll all try to play along. But drink responsibly, guys. Once again, drink responsibly.
Obi-Wan called it.
Master Yoda is an asshole. That's to say. I love that look of the droid, just like, excuse me? What? Yeah, the Newt Gunray, one of the most probably racist characters in the original trilogy.
Oh, yes. My favorite of the Nemodians. I can't remember the name. Oh man, the ventilation shaft one. That's
Yes.
lovely.
Yes.
Great line. That legal?
I will make it legal.
I think it's TC-14 is the silver droid, or 13.
The silver. Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Pretty sure. Oh.
Just suck it in. They think so little of the Jedi. Come on, you think a little Diaxis is gonna take him out? No way. No way.
great. There
We
we go.
lost that transmission.
Oh, I love this.
Qui-Gon's just like, okay.
No, I love the when they do like the little force leak jump.
Yeah, they jet out of here in a sec.
That's cool. And then Obi-Wan doesn't do it again when Maul is fighting Qui-Gon.
You make a great point that I never thought about, right? Like, if they can do this, what's about to happen in 2 seconds, then he could have been able to get through all those generated shields.
Yeah, well, a lot of, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, a lot of people, that's why they hate the sequel so much with Force heal. You know, it's like, okay, why didn't Obi-Wan heal?
So, do you buy into the
Why
theory?
didn't Obi-Wan heal?
Do you buy into the theory that in A New Hope that Luke may have been dead or close to it, and then Obi-Wan healed him? Because that's what a lot of people are pointing to.
I believe it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's one of those like after the fact things.
Classic Obi-Wan.
He's so quippy. Here she
Oh.
is.
That's favorite aesthetically designed character in this movie, I think. Comment if that's true, Moneybags. Silver is a lot more attractive than the gold one. I think that is, yeah, that's a fair statement. I think that's why 3PO has the silver leg. You know,
Ooh, he's
maybe
trying to
it's
spiff
naturally-
up, yeah.
Is that Kiara Knightley?
That, I believe, is Natalie Portman.
That was Natalie. Really?
I believe that's her. If you read in the book,
This right here.
this is all Natalie Portman, I believe. Although she did confirm in a late night show that like Natalie Portman like early a lot of times, and she would do like a lot of like wide shots of the Queen, like or just as Padme. So they did swap in and out pretty often. But if you read the book,
Natalie Portman.
if you read the book Queen's Peril, which we have a plot summary up on the channel, they go into some pretty good detail of when they're shifting between Padme and Sabe, the other handmaiden. Now, sorry, if you haven't seen this movie yet, I'm sorry. It's how many years old now? Almost like it's 20, 22, 23 years old now.
Yeah. Wait. There's Padme. Sorry. There's.
Oh man. Our first of many stream issues tonight, guys. Apologies. We will get it back up and running. No worries. 1 sec. Let's get Mike back here on the screen.
Ugh.
There he is. All right,
See,
so everybody take a shot
Justin,
for
you're
Jar
saying
Jar.
He just happens to be there, where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are coming out. More than. Look at those.
You know, I have to say, rewatching this not too long ago, we've watched this a few times now to do our plot summary and stuff for the channel, but I actually like Jar Jar a lot more than I thought I did. I think he's not that bad, and he's actually... there was one moment in this movie, and I'll point it out when we get back there, because I forget where it is, but I legitimately laughed out loud for quite a while, just at a stupid line that Jar Jar had.
Daddy. Daddy.
That water CG looks not terrible for 1999. I have to say, some of this stuff looks not horrendous. It's not great.
I mean, this was such a cool scene though. Otagunga when they come over that was awesome.
This is the key to everything right here. Look at that. That is beautiful.
Such a cool city. I think this is a map in the original Battlefront too.
In the original game, really?
I'm pretty sure it is the original.
I'm gonna have to get that. We're gonna have to play that on the channel because I don't remember the original Battlefront that well.
Oh, it was great.
I think I played it a little bit, but I mainly came in for the first Battlefront 2. Played that game quite a bit. That game was pretty freaking great.
Yeah, the new Battlefront 2 is good.
It's not bad, man.
The 2 is good too, obviously.
It's not terrible. I've been playing the new Battlefront more and more lately, ever since it was free for PC like a couple weeks ago. And man, that game's a lot of fun. I didn't give it a fair shake. A ton of Jar Jars. CG is top notch. Yeah, man. It really is. It really is Moneybags.
I love the Council of Gungans and their little peasant coifs that they're wearing that I would wear on RuneScape when in range. Look at them.
I do like they have hoods. It's essentially a hood that they just cut out a mouth and eye holes for them.
Yeah. Heather, you must understand this.
It's so bad. He is just like next level Jar Jar, I think. Like, I feel like Boss Jar Jar, but because of it, he's like far more funny.
Oh yeah. See that mind trick that Darth Jar Jar just did?
Yeah, yes, of course. Sure, yes, of course. Punished.
Qui-Gon did it too. Vissin, hissin.
This moment coming up right here. This isn't the moment that I laughed hysterically, but I watched this and I was like, what? Like, what was the point of that scene?
You could say about most of Jar Jar.
Misa better dead here. What am I saying? What? 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 That was a quick turnaround.
So I forget, why do they force them to go through this way rather than I don't know.
The only thing that I
to
can
defeat
think is to get to the capital city of Naboo, because I think if they go
like,
back,
safely.
yeah, if they go back the other way and then try to trek there, they're gonna be caught. And I would assume too that like where they were was pretty much, they probably, like, the Trade Federation probably set up shop there, and they're like, that's their, you know, their whatever you call it, I don't know, war terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Like this CG, man, this. All right, I think we're back. Again, guys, if the stream goes down, just make sure to keep on watching, keep on rocking with us. Technical issues, man. Technical issues all day.
Mm-hmm.
Hope everybody's still enjoying the film. Hope we are back at this point. Once again, guys, if the stream goes down, just make sure to keep on rocking and keep on watching now that you guys are all synced up.
That doesn't compute. You're under arrest.
So for anybody joining us, we are currently at 25 minutes and 20 seconds.
Boyos? Two R2D2s. That little droid did it! Ugh. Gangsters.
All right. Working on getting the timer back up here for you. We might be going the opposite way in just a sec. So if you're just joining us, we're going to be doing a reverse countdown. So look at the other side of your watch play, you know, your time on the actual movie to get this thing back up and running.
Oh man, he's so cool. What's a more iconic Ray Park? Darth Maul or Toad?
Toad, yeah. I was going to say that's pretty much it, right? Maul and Toad.
I'm sure he's done other things, but that's all I know.
I couldn't name them if I tried.
Dude, how cool are those handmaiden outfits, though? That's what I mean. Like people, I love the designs. They're so awesome.
They stand out really well. I like that. And all right, let's get the timer going here now that we are there. So if you're just joining us, we have about an hour and 47 minutes left of the actual film. But yeah, those outfits are pretty great. And in that book, Queen's Peril, they go into, you know, that whole thing is really about the handmaidens and Padme and a lot of the handmaidens' experiences during episode 1. And they kind of go into how one of the handmaidens was actually the one to kind of engineer and design all of these outfits. And it's very interesting because those chicks, man, they're pretty badass. They know what's up. Like,
Oh yeah.
they ain't just there. They're pretty freaking talented. And it's kind of interesting in that book. They go into how, you know, Sabe right now is playing Padme. This is that we're seeing on screen now. That's the real Padme, but Sabe, the handmaiden, is playing the role of Queen right now for this whole thing to make sure that if anything does go awry, that, you know, she would die versus the actual Queen. And there's a whole thing in the book where Padme and Sabe like are not really happy with each other at this point in time. And like one of the reasons she sends Padme to go clean up the droid is because she's kind of teed off at her. She's pissed off. She's like, go clean up that droid. But she kind of writes it off as like, so she can be in a different ship and or like a part of the ship and like eavesdrop and stuff. Nah, she's just kind of bitter. She's just mad at Padme. And when you're the Queen, when you're playing the role of the Queen, no one can say shit to you. That would be pretty fucking great.
This is my favorite look for Qui-Gon. As people would say now, he's serving up looks. This little poncho.
The poncho's pretty cool. I like his poncho. If you guys watch my Fallen Order live streams, they have ponchos in that game. And I do not like them. I haven't found one poncho that I've liked. Cool comic where they kind of go into her story and what she's about. And yeah, man, she's a bad ass. And her master too.
Oh, did you look at that?
Beautiful.
Love seeing aliens.
And it's nice because this wasn't, you know, mucked around with in any sort of special editions, is what it is. Not that I'm, you know, I'm not anti necessarily the special editions, but some of that CG is pretty blatant, man. Some of like the, let's add a bunch of CG stuff in a late 1970s movie. Doesn't totally fly for me.
Oh yeah, like the Jawas trying to tame the, I can't remember the name of the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Little Annie.
Think about how many children this child is going to kill.
So many. So many younglings, and probably probably an unknown amount of Tusken Raider children as well. I'm sure it actually makes that line like quite beautiful. Like the way that you wrote that was beautiful.
Not a lot, but I've seen people like say like, wow, can't believe Anakin just built C-3PO. He's a kid. He has access to all these parts and stuff.
That's his life, man. Like that's all he's doing all day long.
Yeah.
He's got to have a hobby, right? And that's probably the only hobby he can have.
Credits. I wonder who this character is trying to be a caricature of.
Yeah, I wonder. Actually, the voice actor who plays Watto, he's on Cameo, so you can go pay him like $100 or whatever, and he'll do Watto lines for you if you really want him to. Hope you guys are still with us out there watching along in chat. Hope the stream isn't jumping in and out all that much. Probably is, but I'm trying over here to tighten things up. So if there's any issues, please let us know. We want to make sure that there is a decent enough experience for you guys. If you're also watching along with us, we are using the reverse timer right now. So we have about 1 hour, 40 minutes, about 50 seconds left. 35 minutes and 45 seconds into the film.
Is Quinlan Voss?
Right in the background, yeah.
So I think it's coming up. Wonga. Bulba's cool, man.
I like him. I think he's a neat character design. I think they utilize him well in this movie. I would have liked to see him maybe pummel Jar Jar. So I saw somewhere that people were saying that like the only reported evidence that I can find. I mean, it's clearly like that is the same character design of Quinlan, right? Like that's 100% the same thing. But people have only said that it inspired Quinlan. So I don't know if that's actually canon, if that is him or not.
Oh, I thought I was reading. I was reading about him on Wikipedia, as I do in my sister.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly certain it is him. I know it's the same like race, where it's like something with it's not human.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I mean that would all make sense. I haven't seen anything in canon that like confirms that that's him. But there is the book Dark Disciple, and then he plays a role in some of the Clone Wars. So I'm sure there's probably mention of it. But it does seem weird that Qui-Gon may just pass him by if that is him.
Wait, Dark Disciple. And then wait, there's Dark Outcome. Maybe it's about Quinlan Voss.
Maybe. I also like the theory that old lady, I don't think it's true, but that older lady that we see right now. I was really hoping for
First Slave?
Yeah. No.
Oh, there's Maz Kanata.
Yeah, that's also been said. I don't know how much I buy that, but yeah, I mean that looks exactly like her, right?
Maybe her species, but well, no. What I was gonna say
True.
is, for a slave, I mean, their their living situation is insane.
Is
It's
not
crazy.
bad at all, right? Yeah.
Great.
I also like you see right behind C3PO, they have that like silver scoop thing. That's one of those little where you put the ball in there and then you throw it to another person. Like it's just that toy painted. Like you can see it
Oh
right next
yeah.
to Padme. Like it's just a toy that they spray painted.
Oh, that's right.
And then Qui-Gon's like communicator at some point in time is just like a razor or something that they just like spray painted silver. Like it's the same exact looking thing. They did nothing to it.
Braun right now, and the
Hmm.
when they talk about Coruscant, it's awesome.
I'm very excited to
Yeah.
get to that book.
Good. It's a good book.
Darth Maul's only lines right here. I'm very excited to get to that book.
Good. It's a good book.
Darth Maul's only lines right here. He is voiced by the same guy who plays the new Tick in the Amazon TV show, Amazon streaming show. And yeah, you only had like 2 lines, 1 line in this movie. And then I guess they did bring him back to voice Darth Maul in Solo. And then they ended up, like, they recorded all his lines for that movie. And he was super pumped for it. And they ended up cutting all his lines and replacing him with the guy Sam Witwer, who does Darth Maul in the Clone Wars and Rebels. And so this dude was like, he didn't get invited to the premiere. He found out after the movie came out that he got cut. That's kind of shitty.
Okay, that's. Oh, I mean, Sam Witwer does it so well. you know?
Yeah, he's perfect, and I get it. But it does suck to bring in this poor guy. Thought he was going to get to bring his kids and stuff, and then, nope. You're not in it no more.
Nobody can kill a Jedi.
I really do like how this scene plays out with, particularly Anakin and Qui-Gon, and how he's just like he's figuring it all out right now. Like he can tell that this kid is force sensitive.
Yeah. Well, it shows definitely his intelligence. It's like, well, you're a Jedi, you're supposed to be good and benevolent, but you're letting slavery happen.
Yeah. Oh, is there? Nick says that there was a lacrosse stick in the background. I didn't notice that, but yeah, I absolutely could see that being a thing, like a lacrosse stick they just spray paint. He's a man. He's a man on a mission right there. I never realized how like mean he looks.
Here's some more Darth Jar Jar for you.
Ah, good old Darth Jar Jar.
Right there.
The mouth. I know. Yeah. I don't buy it, but fine. I get it. If you want to believe, that's cool. Qui-Gon gonna be an Obi-Wan series, I heard. There's definitely potential. Thanks, Nick, for sending that in, bud. There has been rumors, but the rumors have been largely a reporter asking Liam Neeson if he would be interested in doing it, and 90% of the time when an actor is asked, are you interested in doing something, they'll just always say yes, because what are you going to say, no? But I could definitely see that being a thing. We learn in the Clone Wars that Qui-Gon, end of the prequel trilogy, and even in Attack of the Clones, you can hear Qui-Gon's voice, but he learned how to be not necessarily a Force ghost, but a Force voice. So there have been some short stories and stuff that have been written about Obi-Wan on Tatooine, and he does talk to Qui-Gon. So it would be likely that they might bring him in to provide some words of wisdom or something for Obi-Wan. It's something I would absolutely like to see. You want to see him, Mike? You want to see Qui-Gon back?
Of course. Come on. You know?
Liam Neeson is always welcome. Him and his particular set of skills.
I will always take Qui-Gon any day.
I've really come to love that character. Reading the book, Mass huge role in that. And man, I've just like I never realized how much I actually relate and really love that character. Yeah, Asian invasion. I definitely, I think, Obi-Wan at this point in time right now, he is a Padawan. So he's not totally up to snuff. He's definitely not as in tune to the Force as Qui-Gon is right now. So yeah, things could be very different if he was the only person on this mission. But it really kind of plays into the rest of the prequel trilogy. Hopefully, we'll be able to do more of these. Was this dude that we needed to do things maybe a little bit differently to make sure that he doesn't turn out the way that he turns out? Qui-Gon was really the only person who should have been able to train Anakin Skywalker. He was the only person who was able to understand that, love isn't a bad thing, and the rest of the Jedi kind of get lost in their ways a little too much. So it is, like, at the end of the day, like, Obi-Wan, he's my favorite character, but at the same time, it's kind of all his fault. Him and Yoda, like, the entire original trilogy and prequel trilogy, like, that's their fault. That's Yoda and Obi-Wan's fault. They got to make it right.
Well, yeah, and Obi-Wan gets his redemption, of course, once himself to Vader in Episode 4.
Yeah.
In a way, where he does that. And himself to Vader in Episode 4.
Yeah.
In a way. But, and also, the way of the Jedi, I mean, it's not the way. Like Luke said, for the Jedi to end. As much as I don't really, the issues with the sequel trilogy, whatever, aside, it's In a way, it's true. I mean,
Yeah,
the monastic kind of monk lifestyle, you know, I don't think it's sustainable.
it's definitely, it was an interesting point when that was brought up in in the trailers and whatnot, but I'm not a huge fan of the route they decided to go with that, but the idea of that is completely true. Yeah, you're 100% right. The Jedi need to adapt.
Yeah.
They need to be different. And it's pretty interesting because I
mean,
think
look, they were all
Mhm.
yeah, they were all fooled by Sidious. One dude.
Yeah,
Like,
really.
come on, man.
It's interesting because the new High Republic novels and comics that are coming out right now, I think what they're building up to, if anybody's checked any of that stuff out, it's pretty interesting. But you'll see that they're very different in that era. It takes place about 200 years before the events of the prequels, and they're pretty different. They're a little more accepting. They're a little more loving, and I think what we're about to see in that, I think what they're leading up to in that story is essentially like they're going to get very strict. Like something is probably going to happen, and they're going to like stop a lot. They're going to be very strict in the whole, no attachments thing, and that does play to be their downfall. Whose fault is the new sequels? I vote Vicky Mouse.
Cool.
I forget the name of that. But that's in one of the Darth Maul comics, and that thing's pretty awesome.
If you'll bear with me for one moment.
Yeah, man, do your thing. We're here for the long haul. Whose fault is the new sequel? Says Nick. I vote Mickey Mouse. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of things with the sequels that don't necessarily sit well with me. I think there was a lot of good ideas.
Stop. And I won a heroes versus villains 1v1 tournament. And that's what I got.
And you won that. Oh, man. Do you know who that's made by? Is that just like a Hasbro, or is that like somebody else?
Yeah, it's Hasbro.
Nice. That looks cool. Dude, good.
Oh,
I didn't know you were that good at playing heroes versus villains.
And then
Out of these three movies.
all right, chat. Who's your favorite pod racer?
Oh man, what's this guy's name? Oh crap, I forget his name now. This little kid's name. Oh,
Oh, dude, I don't know. Oh,
Crisp.
Oh, he just said it.
Kitster, yeah. Kitster. They have a really good. There's the Star Wars show on YouTube. They did like a little fake like Kitster, like if he had his own movie trailer and if he was played by an adult, and it's the same guy who's been rumored. They've been rumoring to play Ezra, and it's really funny. If you watch at the end of the pod race scene, Kitster's there, and then there's Warwick Davis is in a suit. I forget what kind of creature he is actually, but they go for like a high five, like completely like shafts him and like misses it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Oh, there he is. Yeah,
Ben
there's Warwick.
Quadraneros. Gasgano is my favorite. I love Gasgano. He's the that's one of my favorite like minor Jedi who you don't see too much. You'll see him in a little bit. He's got the really long neck.
Love that head move.
Doug Bolt, absolutely love that in Episode 1 Racer. All right, I think I gotta get the game. I gotta buy it and play it again.
Shout out to Greg Proops. Yeah, man. Greg Proops. He's I believe he came back in one of the cartoons. I think Resistance, and Greg Proops does some more announcing. So if you really like that, and I also think he's in the pod racing game. If you had that for like racing, I think he's in there. I could be wrong.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
So Gasgano is the one with the green pod racer. This is so stupid. I hate this scene. When the
This
EOB
part?
farts. So stupid. But that one.
Yeah, Darth Jar Jar right there.
I love Greg Proops.
Underrated cameo. I agree. I agree, Asian Invasion. What a cheat. What a cheater. Come on, Saboba.
In the Bounty Hunter game for like GameCube, yeah, it was definitely GameCube. You go to like the Doug home world, so there's a bunch of those,
Oh.
you know, Sebulbas running around with pistols and stuff shooting you. That's Gasgano's pod racer behind him right there.
Right there. The kind of like
Yeah.
Boba Fett-y looking color scheme.
Yeah, he's cool. I always played as him in the pod racing game.
I bought that fairly recently. I haven't played a whole lot of it. I definitely want to be playing that.
It's good. If you play as Anakin, you're a chump, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. So thanks, man. The few times I've
Yeah, you're a
actually
chump.
loaded up that
Sorry.
game. Yeah. Come on, dog. He's the best.
Um,
Fun fact, oh, geez, why can't I think of his name now? The dude right next to
Bib Fortuna?
Bib Fortuna. Yeah, that's sound engineer at Lucasfilm. And it's the same dude who played
Oh,
him
jeez.
in a later thing that I won't necessarily spoil for anybody who's not caught up on Star Wars stuff. But yeah, that's the sound engineer, Matt Wood, who also voices...
Get credits for him, so that was always cool. That was fun.
I've never actually went through that game, so that's definitely something I want to do.
Well, I love Django.
He's the best.
There he is. Love him.
Oh, that dude. I love the variants of all of those pod, all the pod racers. Is that what you would call the ship? What do you actually call them? I don't even...
Pod racers, yeah.
Yeah, pod racers. Yeah, I love all the variants of that.
Dude, this stuff is so cool. I don't know why people hate on it so much. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think pretty universally, even if you are a prequel hater, this is the scene you enjoy. Even if you're a prequel hater, this scene, the fight scene at the end of this movie with Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon, those are undeniably fantastic moments.
And Warwick Davis collab again together in the... Oh, man, what's the name of the show? I can't remember it. It's where they go to Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, and they do the...
yeah, I know
pitch.
that one. Oh, if you guys just saw that shot of that lady there, and she's all white, and she's got like a weird ponytail, somewhat shaven head. That is Aura Singh, yeah, and she is in the Clone Wars. Big part of the Clone Wars has a lot to do with I actually don't think they get there. I think it's kind of a somewhat canon, not really canon, but Aura Singh and Cad Bane and all them have a lot to do with the formation of early Boba Fett. I don't think that those episodes were ever finished and released, but yeah, they're pretty big in the Clone Wars series.
There was like one. There was definitely one where they tried to do the kill Mace Windu, right?
Oh, were they a part of that too?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Aura
Okay.
Singh and Boss. I don't think Cad Bane was though.
Okay.
He might have, but
That would make sense. There's an unreleased episode of the Clone Wars, and they have like animatics online. Like it's essentially it's not finished, and they go through this whole thing where like Cad Bane and Aura Singh are like working with a young Boba Fett like after Jango has died, and yeah, and they're like kind of out between Jango and or not Jango, Boba and Cad Bane, and that's where the dent on the Boba Fett helmet came to be and all that stuff. But also at the same time, the Jango Fett's helmet, which is supposed to be Boba Fett's helmet, if you've watched The Mandalorian Season 2. They also blew that up in the Clone Wars in an attempt to kill Mace Windu, so I don't know what is legit. I don't know what helmet is what, or if he like found it and reforged it, or how all that works, but
I don't know. Well, and also,
oh, your boy.
what's the I can't remember his name. The guy that takes in Han Solo in the Solo movie.
Oh, Beckett, Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't remember his
Beckett.
name.
Yeah.
He's the one that kills all saying. So that's
Yes, and they mention it to Lando, and apparently that's good for Lando. So what the hell does that mean? Did Lando have like run-ins with Aura Singh? There's gonna be that Lando show coming up, so I'm hoping if that's a thing, dude, they brought Aura Singh in and did something with Lando. That would be really cool. But
that would be cool, yeah.
I'm kind of thinking that the Lando show is going to be after the Solo movie. I don't know if it's going to be before, but maybe they'll do some flashbacky stuff for like half and half, or it could be completely different. It could just be the Billy D current era. They have released no information about that Lando show.
Oh, they haven't?
Not really, dude. I don't even know if it's live action or if it's animated. Like, they just have kind of said that it's a Lando show, and that's about it. So, who knows?
Bro, I'll take a live action Donald Glover show for Lando. I'll take that. That would be awesome. He was great.
What's been, like, kind of rumored, and I'm kind of thinking they might do, is they might bring in Billy D and Donald Glover and have, like, Billy D, like, narrate it and, like, talk about his, time during that Donald Glover era, and then have Donald Glover do all the stuff in there. And I would love to marry those two characters and have that be a thing. Chris Patnote, if you glitch that one more time, you will be booted from the Canon Collector Discord.
I can't remember. I hope Billy D would be in it though. That'd be cool. He'll talk about Colt 45.
45? I thought it was King Cobra. We used to drink King Cobra. Nick Grundon in our chat.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Colt 45.
Oh, it could very well be, but for some reason I have King Cobra in my head. I thought it was like a cool shout out to the village.
Oh no, it's Colt 45.
It's Colt 45. Okay.
Oh man.
Somebody else did King Cobra ads then, and I don't know who it is. Let's try to look it up. You know what? It'd be sick if it was like Carl Weathers or somebody. That would be cool. I would love to keep this in the Star Wars family.
Oh, this is such a cool scene. When he comes down and he flips the switches like that. Oh, it's just so awesome.
I actually heard a movie review of the Phantom Menace, right? And one of the big sticking points that they had of their negative movie review for the Phantom Menace was that every shot in this scene goes from left to right, in that they never show you the other angle. And actually do some like film research. That's actually how you're supposed to shoot these scenes. So, if anybody has an issue with that, come talk to me.
Yeah, left to right,
yeah, it's like a progression. You're supposed to keep things the same so you feel as though they're moving. George Lucas is amazing at stuff like this. If you have seen like some of his early films, his student films, he did a bunch with like cars and motorcycles, and the dude is a genius at capturing like movement like that. Even a lot of the space fights, the spaceship battles, like it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, the left to right is definitely like a Western kind of interpretation of it, for sure.
Yeah.
But he did that, I'm not too familiar with George Lucas outside of, this, and Indiana
little bit of
Jones.
indie.
Right?
Yeah. No, he has done some crazy stuff, man. His early films are just like weird, but cool and very different. He was one of the, his first like actual film that he made in college. Like it was just this like kind of BS like project that they had him do, and instead of just like doing the project like just paint by numbers what they wanted him to do, he made a short film out of it, and like everybody at his film school was just like, this is revolutionary. He submitted it to a bunch of film festivals and won them. Like the man is truly a visionary. A lot of people have ragged on him for a long time, but at least visually, he's not the best at writing dialogue, but visually,
well, dude, to kind of circle this back into the prequels, right? He's a big picture guy, right? Like I said at the beginning, the prequels overall, fantastic story. It's the minutia where he just falls and fails. It's like the lines in episodes 1 and 2, and I mean, I love 3. I think it's the third or fourth best Star Wars movie.
Oh,
right?
okay. So we need to pause real quick. Run through 1 through 4. What's the top to bottom for you? At least for
5, 4, and either 3 or 6. I think 6.
Okay. Watto is not a happy camper. So if you guys are just joining us, we are about 1 hour and 11 minutes into the Phantom Menace, and we are about an hour and 5.5 minutes away from the end. So we are going to be watching this bad boy all the way through. Our timer on screen currently is running the opposite way. Little technical difficulties earlier, which caused us to have to do the reverse timer, but about 1 hour and 5 minutes left in this film. So buckle up, kids. Grab yourself another drink and let's go. What are you guys thinking about the film so far? How is it a rewatch for you guys? And when was the last time that you guys have watched The Phantom Menace? It's been about a week for me, and I know for a lot of other people it's a lot more. This is one that definitely does not get revisited as much.
For me personally, I would say it's probably been about a year. I would say about a year.
Okay. That's not bad. That's a lot better than most, I'll tell you that.
I try to do at least all of them once a year,
Yeah.
But
No, I know a lot of people...
even Attack
a lot of people prefer to do the machete cut without the Phantom Menace. And it just feels weird. Feels weird in my opinion. I know you as well.
about on Phantom Menace too. This is way too important for the whole story,
There's definitely a lot of stuff in there. Really, just Qui-Gon's character in general is the most important thing. Like the stuff we were talking about earlier with Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon is really the only one who should have trained Anakin. If Qui-Gon was still alive at the end of this movie and was able to train Anakin, the original trilogy just would not have happened.
Yeah, if you get rid of that line with the midi-chlorians, right, which
You're happy with it?
everyone hates, which is stupid. It's stupid.
Anti-midi-chlorians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be harsh, but come on.
So how do you feel about The Mandalorian now sort of maybe dipping its toe into that? We heard the term M count in that show. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm already strapped in, because this is part of the world,
Yeah.
I've surrendered myself to it. I'm like, all right, it's part of the world, just got to deal with it. Like, I love so much more about Star Wars that, I'll deal with that one part of it.
Sure.
So I'm like, I'm cool. Like, that's cool or whatever. I mean, but in the same token, you look at it and you're like, oh wait, what? Just because you know, Yoda, Yaddle, and Grogu are this whatever the species is. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say will because they're not wills, but
No, yeah.
I mean, they are.
It would
but
be
they're
insane
not.
if they revealed that, right? That would be nuts.
That would be cool.
But I don't-
You
yeah.
know, like, okay, so this species is more in tune with the Force. I mean, I guess I'm torn on it because it's like, yeah, like maybe they're an ancient species, one of the oldest species in the world. And that's why they are in the galaxy. That's why they
Mhm.
live so long.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they're with midichlorians. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place about it.
That would be interesting, right? If they brought that into it somehow. Like that the reason they live so long is because of midichlorians, or like because they live so long they have more midichlorians. That's interesting.
Also, as a little side, I think the best movie poster of any poster, I'll say any poster to come out for any movie, one Phantom Menace, when Anakin is walking with his backpack against the wall of the houses.
Our thumbnail.
is the shadow of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I mean, that's actually, I watched some like older interview with somebody talking about how much they hate the Phantom Menace, how disappointed they were. And it was like they were almost pointing to that poster as being the reason why they hated it. Like that poster was so good that it couldn't live up to that poster. Like the movie itself could not live up to how cool that poster was. Like I guess I kind of get it. That poster is incredible.
I mean, so it's that poster and then the Revenge of the Jedi, like
Kind of like plop down. He's like, oh, I guess I'll just and duck. And I kind of get like maybe what they were going for here because it's all sandy and stuff, but that blade looks orange AF. Darth Maul's blade does not look Sith villain red. And like we can't just chalk it up to like maybe for Qui-Gon, right? If it did look more orange, like if that was a thing that Darth Maul could do, then he still is maybe kind of preserving his Sithness. Like look at that. That is orange. That ain't red. But it's like we already know he's a Sith. We know he's the bad guy. We saw him talking to Palpatine. So it's not like that's like we're going to try to keep some mystery here. Nah, dude. And I don't think you can do that. You can't change the color. At least the way Canon's set up right now. You can't change the color on a whim like that.
Aww.
He's like, I'm going to kill you someday. I'm going to slice you into bits, son.
Dude, I'm gonna fuck you up on a lava planet and leave you for dead. Look
Oh
at
my
that
God.
little walker that he has.
I
That is so
never
cool.
even noticed that. Dude, he's got Maul spider legs. That's the same design of like the Maul creepy spider legs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably
a
like 3 other droids that look like that.
Power move.
That's pretty bad. I want one. That's pretty badass. This dude just
Yeah, if I ever have to lose my legs or something,
That's
I'll
it.
take that over a wheelchair.
So this
Walk
scene
like that.
right here with the guy you don't like, C.O. Bibble. Alrighty, he's about to say it. So he says the term. So he said death toll. Now it's not really well done, right? But in the book Queen's Peril, the word toll, one of the handmaidens actually went into like most common and uncommon words, and so they created a bunch of these like secret sort of code words. And the word toll, if she ever heard the word toll, if the queen ever heard the word toll, she would kind of know that was like a message sent directly from her handmaidens. So that was still alive on Naboo. It's kind of lame. Like you watch this scene and you're like, yeah, that's fucking, how would you know? Like that's weird. Like, but that's how they wrote it into the book. And it's kind of neat. And if you watch that scene, she gives a little look at the end. That's kind of like, oh, Like, maybe she's thinking about some more stuff. Obviously, obviously Natalie Portman probably had no knowledge of that, but that is a thing. That's a canon thing.
Should be really cool. Yeah. Also, Darth Jar Jar, I mean, why is he here? Why did they take the time to animate him into the scene?
Because he's
He
got
didn't
to
add
go
anything
somewhere.
to it.
You got Anakin. Well, okay, so here you go, right? I'll give you the reason why. In this movie, what does Obi-Wan say about Anakin? I think we're picking up another useless life form. They put him in, like, the shit area of the thing. You guys sleep in the kitchen. Screw you. We're taking the nice stuff. You guys are both useless life forms. You guys don't need to be here. That's why he's there, dog. They're just in the kitchen. They're just hanging out, and that's the crappiest place to sleep on that ship.
Okay, but that point that you just made completely negates the fact that Qui-Gon is on the ship and he knows that his midichlorians are off the scale. So Qui-Gon wouldn't let that.
Fair enough.
I get what you're saying.
Fair
I
enough.
understand,
I'll give that to you. I understand. Qui-Gon's not trying to give him too much juice yet, because he's about to in a second. He's about to blow the lid on the whole Chosen One thing soon.
Dude, biggest patsy in all of history next to Lee Harvey Oswald.
Chancellor?
Yeah, Chancellor Valorum. Oh my
Dude,
god.
Palpatine. What a douche.
Here we go. We get to see the cool ass Jedi.
Somewhat interesting. I mean, I kind of get it. They're all going there, but, like, Anakin's kind of more... Well, I guess Jar Jar is Qui-Gon's responsibility, too. So I thought it was just kind of like Qui-Gon passing off Anakin, but Jar Jar's also Qui-Gon's responsibility. Jar Jar's now Anakin's babysitter, which is why he's in the scene with Padme and Anakin. Boom. He's his babysitter, right? Jar Jar owes a life debt to Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's putting him to work being the babysitter. Qui-Gon's got better things to do right now, man. So that's why Jar Jar is with Anakin every step of the way. But I know what you're gonna say, and I know the other theories, and I know the other side of this. So I'm not gonna. We're gonna end it right there.
All I need is what Ahmed Best said. That's all I need.
Ahmed Best is fantastic. He's wonderful, but I think he's playing a little bit. Think he's playing. There's a hopeful wish here. Whatever. That can be legends. That's fine.
Dude, how cool is that outfit though?
This one, yeah. This is a very similar outfit.
Yeah.
I think this may be Padme at this point, because I think Padme is the one who is actually in the Senate scene. I think they were able to swap at this point. But,
oh yeah, that looks like her.
Yeah. But it is really hard to tell. They did an amazing job casting Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley to, like, play each other. Like, that's tough to do, man. Because this is the kind of shit, dude, when I was a kid that just absolutely confused the hell out of me. Like, I had no idea what was going on because of this. Like, it just didn't make sense.
There he is, Sheev.
Also, this is a question that I was thinking about the other day, right? Like,
That's Euro Poof over there to the left.
that was what?
I'm just saying Euro Poof, that's my favorite.
Oh, the Jedi, yeah. I think
Uh,
he's in the High Republic, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's still around. Like, he's alive for quite a while.
yeah, he dies, I think, for Attack of the Clones. There's like a bomb that Jedi easily absorbs it to save the Jedi.
Okay.
Which is real cool.
Yeah, he lives quite a long while, if I remember correctly, that he's in the High Republic series. And he's on the Jedi Council. Oh, so here's what I was going to say. So, people going into the prequel trilogy, 1999, did people know that Palpatine was Sheev and Sheev was Palpatine? Like, is that a thing people realized at that time? Because the way the movie plays, right, is it very much plays like you're not totally supposed to know.
Yeah.
Because it almost plays like they're trying to be secretive about it, like that you aren't supposed to know. Or is that just for us kids who were born in the 90s and then watched this movie in 1999 and like we maybe didn't have a full perspective of what he became? In chat,
Yeah,
let me know, chat. What did you, when you guys first saw The Phantom Menace, like, did you see the original trilogy beforehand, and did you put two and two together that is the Emperor, or did you go into this movie, say, fresh without seeing it, and was that like a surprise for you? Did you have to put that together at some point in your life? Let us know in the chat.
Oh, Nick brought up a good point. He said I got the wrong version on. I want the Yoda puppet.
Yeah, dude, the VHS, I don't know if the DVDs did. They might have redone it before they released the DVDs, but yeah, so I guess I was kind of wrong in saying that these weren't special editions, because they kind of are, right? Like, Yoda's all CG now, yeah. But good move. I think good move. It keeps it more in line with the rest of the trilogy, and that early Yoda puppet looks pretty freaking creepy.
Hey, where's E.T.? Where's the E.T. race?
It's coming up, dude. When I watched this the other night, I think it's when they start talking about replacing the, voting for no confidence with the Chancellor. Nick says he was too young to put two and two together until Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, dude, that's kind of where I was too, man. A lot of this stuff did not make sense. Also, I was introduced to Star Wars in a very poor way, in that my dad was not really a Star Wars fan and didn't know really what to do and how the whole story worked. And so instead of getting me A New Hope and renting that from Blockbuster, he rented me Empire. So I was so fucking confused. It's the other angle.
It's on the left,
Yeah.
right?
Screen, yeah. It'll be like down and almost middle, but they're going to be looking to the right. Like the camera's going to be pointed towards the right of this room. Or at least all those weird floaty pod things will be on the right. I think it's coming up.
Oh, there's the Wookiee.
Oh, yeah. He's just like, he knows he's screwed. There they are.
There they are.
Right in the bottom left. Yeah, you're right. Right bottom left.
Dude, how cool is this? Seeing Palpatine manipulate this whole scene.
It's a game of
It's all
chess.
him.
He is literally, and you just see how comfortable and confident he is in this. He is playing chess right now. This is a fucking game for him. Like kind of crappy CG, but also kind of cool.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
They just stylize things in this movie. When they use CG, they stylize it in a way that just like looks different. It looks neat. It doesn't look like bad CG. It just looks like animation, which I really appreciate. And that's like something that like the Clone Wars did, the animated series, is that they like they went so hard into an animation style that it feels good even when you watch it years later. Even though it does kind of look like a PS2 or a PS1 level graphics, but
Your thoughts dwell on your mother.
good old Kiadi.
He has like 7 kids.
He does. That is one of the things people have been bringing up a lot about lately, in the whole, like, where did Grogu come from? It's like they didn't not let Jedi actually, like, have sex. Like, he went and, like, fathered a bunch of children because he was the last of his species. So, like, maybe Yoda and Yaddle did get it on. Maybe that is a thing. This shot of Padme right here is what they use for that Queen's Peril book. That's the cover, and it really is a beautifully, like, shot scene. So some of the cinematography in this movie is just beautiful. The way that they use colors, even with the CG, and you think about the colors and the tones that they're using in the background versus, like, what, color her flesh is or her makeup is. It's just, a lot of this is gorgeous. That's why the CG doesn't look horrendous. I think there's just a lot of care put into this. That is one evil boy right there. Oof. That little, like, smirk, half smile. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, he just knows.
Ugh. He's such a good...
Yeah, no, Nick, yeah, exactly. We were saying, how he manipulates the entire thing. Yeah, it's all him.
Yeah.
It's all him.
He's playing chess.
And I think it's that this night, if I remember if memory serves correct, I don't know if it's canon at this point, but I'm pretty sure it's at this point where Darth Plagueis gets killed.
That would make sense. Is that in the Plagueis novel? Is that where that's from?
No. Or it might be. I never finished the Plagueis novel, which was very good. I just didn't finish it, but I can't remember where I read it. I think again it was at Wikipedia.
Yeah.
It was in the canon section. I'm fairly certain. I'm like 85% sure.
I need to go through more Legends to see where some of this stuff is, because there is a lot that is applicable to current canon. Like, they're not throwing away all of Legends. Like, a lot of it is still applicable until said otherwise. Like, you can kind of believe and think a lot of canon, like a lot of Legends is canon until it's contradicted. Like, a lot of, say what happens after the original trilogy is contradicted because of the sequel trilogy. But, like, other than that, there's some stuff that still really works well. Even things like Heir to the Empire, like the original Thrawn trilogy of books. Was it a trilogy? Thrawn books, whatever. Heir to the Empire books. Like, trilogy, yeah. Those are probably going to be coming back into canon, at least in some way, shape, or form, with all of this new Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and the Rangers of the New Republic shows on Disney Plus. So it's very, very applicable. It's very similar to how, and I think it's smart that they're kind of going that Marvel route, where it's like, if you look at the comics, you can see a similar but different version of maybe how things will play out. Ooh, he's mad. Anakin's mad. He's not happy. Fuck you, Mace. He knew. Anakin knew when he squinted his eyes right there that he was going to chop that man's arm off.
Yeah, Mace can't come back, dude. I'm anti-Mace returning.
That's the rumor, dog. That's the rumor.
I'm tired of that being a thing, man. I'm sorry. It's already played out.
Somebody said at one point in time, and I forget who it was, but they said that it kind of, if Mace came back, it would devalue what happens in Revenge of the Sith and Anakin killing him and doing all that. Like, it would really take away from that, and I do see that point. So
I agree with that.
Yeah, like, it would maybe be better if he just was done for, and then that's it. But if you want to have him save Grogu, I don't know. Yeah. It's, hey, maybe he's the one who took him from the temple. Wait.
Kind of like how Palpatine still being alive.
Yeah.
Kind of undervalues. Never mind. I'm not getting into it.
The entire 6 films.
Yeah, the entire 6 movies.
See, and I mean, that's part of why I really want to dive into all of this canon and, like, go through every single story, because I really want to find where maybe that it doesn't conflict with that. Because I think there are a lot of people who have the viewpoint that it doesn't. They have specific reasons, but I would like to go discover those for myself and hopefully make the sequel trilogy work a little better, but we'll see. I'm not totally anti-sequel trilogy, but I think especially Rise of Skywalker.
No.
Rise of Skywalker did a lot of stuff that's like, wait, what? What?
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not another just blatant sequel hater. I recognize that there's some good in them for sure.
Yeah, it's
like
not
Luke Skywalker. It's like Luke sensing the good in Anakin, or in Vader. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well,
I know there's
he
good in
sensed
you.
Anakin in Vader, right? Yeah.
And we sense the Star Wars in the sequels.
I never noticed that till right now. Do you see Jar Jar just do that little dance move? He just like did a weird like little wiggle. That was cute.
Only something a Sith would do.
Shut up. Oh man. How's everybody in chat doing? Everybody doing good? Everybody still here? How's the stream? All right? Is it too choppy for you? We doing all right here?
I'll be right back. One moment.
Oh yeah, you took it from me. Yeah, you go do that. I'm gonna have to go pee too as well, but we will be watching. We are currently 39 minutes away from the end of the Phantom Menace. We are about an hour and 37 and a half minutes into the movie. We are currently looking at Queen Amidala with her 2 handmaidens aboard their ship, leaving Naboo. We're watching Qui-Gon speak to her. They're heading to Naboo, man, to really kind of get to the bottom of this stuff. Captain Panaka right here. Her royal security guard was just talking. It's been way better than the start. That's really good. We are trying to refine this thing, man. Very early days of the channel. That's the benefit of being here, or the downfall of being here right now, is that you guys get to hang out with us while we're trying to figure all this stuff out, man. But it's fun. We'll definitely, I'm going to watch the stream back on the replay and see if it's a little choppy or whatnot. But we will be, if it is, we'll be uploading an accurate version so that you can go and watch this back and see it, as it should be. If there's any chops or blips or cuts, we'll try to cut it all up and make sure that it times up well with the movie. But hope you guys are enjoying the movie. Make sure to comment in the live chat and in the stuff, man. It really helps the channel when you like. And it really helps the channel as a whole when you subscribe. Lets you guys know when we're posting new stuff, and helps out the algorithm and stuff like that. So please make sure to go do that. We really appreciate all you guys taking your time tonight to watch this with us. This is gonna be a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. We're gonna do some more chat as well after this, so we will kind of do a whole recap. Maybe not a whole recap. We just watched the movie, right? But we'll do a whole kind of discussion about what's going on after, what our thoughts were, what we liked, what we didn't like, all that good stuff.
Now I am back. Sorry about that.
No worries. I'm gonna have to tag out as well soon, so we can keep going. We're about, like I was telling them, we're about 36, 37 minutes into this, or left of this movie, and then we'll do a little wrap up, a little hangout, a little discussion afterwards. So. Talk all the rest of our thoughts of this bad boy. So definitely strap in if you make sure. Yeah, Mike.
Definitely, we're watching the prequels and the originals and the sequels, all of them. All right.
Yeah.
And
Are you?
What? Like she's the queen?
This
Fat
part
Jar
though.
Jar?
This part though, like they all just get on their knees. They're like, she doesn't even really make a great point, and she's just kind of like, we get on our knees, and now Boss Nass like, you no think you're better than the Gungans? Misa like this. Okay, all right. Oh man, all right, I'm tagging out. I'll be back in 2 secs.
and you got to think like while Palpatine is manipulating, everyone in the public, he's manipulating them too, 100%. Even Darth Maul, everything. It just. Oh, we're about to hit in Star Wars the Naboo pistols. And also Darth Jar Jar doing the mind trick again to make him a general. You saw that happen. Oh, don't worry with each other. So cool.
It's chess, man. This is a huge game of chess that he's playing. And this too, man, like this scene for the time, like, and I still think that the CG kind of holds up here. Like, it's not awful, it's not terrible, but just to have this many CG characters is like, holy crap! Like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
I'm kind of imagining that a lot of this, so CG, not that right there. That looks fairly real, but it could be.
Dude, there's people that like complain about the sequels. I'm sorry to bring it up again, but they, like one of the complaints I hear about the sequels is, oh, they're just doing this for toys and stuff. And I get that, but dude, it's the same stuff with this. It's like you show off the cool stuff. That's why George Lucas like lowered his salary, and he only now because he knew.
Yeah.
Like, there would be toys for this and like all that.
Yeah, he was saying in an interview I was watching recently that like you don't really make money, and it's kind of true. You don't really make that much money off of movies itself. There's so much that goes into making these things that you make a lot of your money off the merchandise. So if you want to make some money and make this thing a profitable endeavor, you kind of have to do that. And it really his quote is, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I think his quote is, if you can get into the mind of a child, you can make it in this business.
That is a beautiful quote. But it's true too, like what he learned from the original trilogy was a lot of like VHS and home video was not a thing for a long time back then. So like the only way that kids could relive these stories was by playing with the toys. So it's like, you can look at it as like a money-making sort of endeavor, but really I think it was trying to provide more than that.
Oh yeah. No, I get it. Definitely.
And a lot of his, like, him wanting to keep the merchandising rights and stuff wasn't even necessarily totally for the toys. I mean, I'm sure there's no doubt that plays an aspect to it, but it was so that he could make t-shirts and he could make posters, because he knew that the movie studios weren't going to really like promote this thing. Yeah. And so he wanted to make sure that even if they weren't going to do that, he was still going to be able to get out there and promote this movie, and so that he could continue to make more. And it's brilliant. He's a pioneer, man. Like, give him crap for making the prequels if you want to, but like I don't believe half the things people say about him, and that it's all, it was all for the toys, and that he,
Daddy. Yeah, no, absolutely.
People say he sold out to make the prequels, and it's like, no, man. Yeah. Like, I don't believe that one bit. I think that like the prequels, if anything, were less of a sellout. Because he made the movie he wanted to make.
He believed in the story that he created. He believed in it,
I read somewhere...
Empire of Dreams on Disney Plus, 3-something hour documentary. I have seen it, I don't even know how many times. It just, anytime it comes on, I just watch it. I can't stop.
Yeah.
But it goes into it, it's so good in the creation of it.
There was an interview, I think, on Star Wars YouTube channel, where they were interviewing, I think the guy who created the show Dear White People in the movie Dear White People, And he was talking about how when he was making that film or writing the original one, at some point in his life, he just incessantly watched that documentary to get inspired. And it really is an inspirational documentary. Like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Nick, the Naboo Starfighter, I agree. I think that's probably in my top 5 Starfighter designs in all of Star Wars. Maybe even top 3. But there is a game where, there's, you have Rogue Squadron, which obviously is a classic, one of the best Star Wars games ever made. But you also have Naboo Starfighter, where you pilot this ship, and it's like in this time frame around Episode 1, and it's great. You get to pilot this ship, and it sounds awesome, and it feels awesome. Oh, hold on, silence on the set, real quick.
Ooh, baby. Qui-Gon just strolling in. It's like, we got this. This is us.
This is not one of the coolest scenes in all of Star Wars.
Right
here. You know what I'm talking
not the droidicas.
I mean, that's cool, but
no, it just nothing compares to this face-off right here. I mean, you really think about it, man. Like, George Lucas, when he was going and trying to make this movie, like, thinking about the fans. I don't believe that he didn't think about the fans when he was trying to make... Like, this scene is just so, like... I don't want to say fan service, because that's not the right term, but it's just like... Dude, like, this is what people were waiting to see. 2 Jedi face off against a Sith, a full-on Sith. Oh.
And you have, like, younger people. Oh, well, David Prowse is probably fairly young at that point, but I mean, he's a big hulking dude. But like, you have like young guys, and you have more technology, and you can really make it go fast, like he wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, it's so awesome.
Yeah, the fight scenes in those early movies are not to the level of what they could do in this prequel era. But it also makes sense story-wise, right? Like, they just weren't they weren't up to snuff. Like, Luke is not the sword fighter that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are here. Like, no way. And then you look at all the story reasons that they've built for Vader, and it's like, yeah, he didn't really want to destroy Luke. Like, he wanted to turn him more than anything. He understood that he was his son. He did have love for his son, so he didn't want to, like, fight like this against him because he knew he would destroy him.
Oh, so good.
These shots.
Man.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Well, also, I mean, like, up until the Battle of Heroes in Mustafar in Episode 3, right? Like, this fight, right? This is not an emotionally charged fight. I mean, there is emotions with it, of course, but this is more on the galactic scale. Whereas, when you're doing all of the original trilogy, that's all heavily emotional thing. So it's not really the action that is what makes it powerful. It's the characters.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's like, yeah. So it has to do exactly what you're saying. Like, where Vader's like, I don't want to kill my son.
Yeah.
I just want to. So it's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched? Did you watch the behind the scenes of the first season of The Mandalorian? There was the big Disney Gallery series that was up.
Now.
So
Jar Jar. Sorry.
I will give you that style, the drunken fist style of fighting. I will, 100%. I will say that looks so similar to that style of fighting. I agree. I agree. Anyway, but the documentary, the behind the scenes of The Mandalorian, season 1, Disney Gallery on Disney Plus. There's a beautiful, I think it's the second episode, where Dave Filoni, who is the executive producer of The Mandalorian, and he's the one who worked with George Lucas directly. He is essentially George Lucas's Padawan. I can't speak highly enough of Dave Filoni. He created so much of the Clone Wars with George Lucas, and he created all of Star Wars Rebels. But he goes through just this long kind of analysis of what this fight means that we're, about to kind of see the end of, more or less, after this spaceship battle. But like, it's so, like, Duel of the Fates actually means something. That song is not just a title given to just give it. That's,
Of course.
they are fighting for, like, that is the fate of Anakin Skywalker. And this is what I was referencing earlier, is that if Qui-Gon wins, like, that means that he's going to get to train Anakin, and Anakin is not going to become Vader. If he loses and the Sith win, he is inevitably going to become Darth Vader.
Absolutely,
And it's like,
yeah.
this fight means so much more than I think people give it credit for.
Certainly. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And Nick, we were saying the top 5 lightsaber duels right behind the duel between Ahsoka and
Ooh.
Maul.
Yes.
The Ahsoka and Maul duel is very awesome. That's great.
That scene, and if you guys haven't watched season 7 of the Clone Wars, my God, season 7 of the Clone Wars, those final 4 episodes, that's some of the greatest Star Wars that has come out since Disney probably acquired Lucasfilm. Really, like, I think that stuff is just unreal beautiful.
Oh, I would say that is better than episode 1 and episode 2, and it is.
Yeah.
It's not better than episode 3. It can't be, but
Yeah.
it is very close. It's like it's pretty much on par with episode 3.
I would highly agree. I would agree.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is for later, but like, what's the best duel in Star Wars, right? I mean, this is up there, man.
Like,
I would put this.
And we're
top
talking
3, man.
lightsaber on lightsaber duel, like.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
talking stupid.
Like,
I'm not gonna, but yeah. Well,
Vader just cutting down
Yes.
rebel troops in the end of Rogue One. Yeah. No.
actual duel.
Yeah, I would say this. Right, so like this one, I would say the Ahsoka versus Maul, the Anakin versus Obi-Wan at the end of Sith, and then the only other one that maybe I would throw in there, I'm trying to think of them all, right? But I would, even though it's not to the same level, maybe choreography-wise, that this is, but like that fight between Vader and Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi, like there is a lot of emotion in that. Like you were saying earlier, that's such a character-driven fight scene, and just seeing Luke just bash away and just like almost let into his hate, like that is such a beautiful moment.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, Episode 6 Throne Room, I think, is the best duel in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because of that, the emotion behind it is so good.
I think we'll have to go and do a ranking in our little discussion after the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, end of Rogue One, where Vader just like kills all those rebels, dude. That is amazing, right?
But they're kind of like in a league of their own, right? Like that's kind of like we have the best duels, and then we have the best hallway scenes, because it's like,
Well, because you got that, the Maul, and
you got Maul in Clone Wars,
and hooded random Jedi in another show.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think Cat's kind of out of the bag with that one. Like we were saying earlier, spoilers may be popping up here, but yeah, if you haven't seen the end of Mandalorian Season 2, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're watching Phantom Menace again and you haven't seen the end of The Mandalorian? Come on. Come on. It's on automatic pilot. That was my biggest laugh, I think, of rewatching this movie recently, was just hearing little Jake Lloyd, Anakin Skywalker, say, "It's on automatic pilot." It's like, what? Like, just luck. This is just pure luck that this all happened, right? Like, this is
no luck.
It's just
the
Force.
It's only the Force. There's no luck. It's only the Force.
Oh man. So yeah, right here, right? This is where Obi-Wan should just shoot himself with the Force all the way through, and then Qui-Gon wouldn't have the ending that we're about to see.
Also, my dad, he would always say when he would read the books, he would say how actually it slowed down for us, but in real time, like the actual Jedi and Sith are like much faster. So
That's in like the novelizations of these books of these movies.
yes,
Huh.
I didn't know he died.
Oh man. I hope I didn't spoil that for anybody. Oof. Oof. Oof.
Dude, bullshit. I'm sorry, bullshit. There's no way Qui-Gon would die like that.
No, Nick says, also I think Qui-Gon's fate after this last meditation stop. Yeah, you know what? You might not be wrong. Reading that book, Master and Apprentice, which I highly recommend for anybody. Go listen to the audiobook, actually. If maybe you're not a book reader, but go listen to the audiobook of that book, Master and Apprentice. It is unbelievable. And Maul, right? Like Maul, like Qui-Gon is kneeling, he is calm, he is meditating, and Maul is stalking in just in his hatred and his anger. But the other thing that's interesting is just like Obi-Wan, who's like somewhere almost in between. Like he's not meditating in the same way. He's not the kind of Jedi that Qui-Gon is. But he's not Maul, right? Like he's prepared and he's ready. It's just it's such a beautiful. There's so much so much going on in these scenes that, George did not get enough credit for this. And then also the beauty of Maul just kicking down this lightsaber down this reactor shaft, and like what's about to happen, and just like the symbolism of that in itself is just gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's great. And as cool as having Maul back in Clone Wars and Rebels, like it's cool. It's great. He's a great character through and through. It's very unique. I could not even imagine going down that route that they went down, right?
Yeah.
It's also in the same token, I'm like, man, like he should be dead. But then in the same token, it's also like his hatred is so strong that it preserved him to push on and just to get revenge, and like that's also super powerful, so
yeah, that's what kept him alive, was just his hatred and his hatred for Obi-Wan.
He's ready, and that's another great, I mean, that's not a duel, I mean it is, but the duel on Tatooine with Obi-Wan or Ben, and
now that we're talking about that, no, I would say because they clashed like one time, it's a duel, and I would 1,000. That is one of the most beautiful things. Yeah, that is one of the most beautiful things, which we'll talk about a little later. If you haven't seen this show, Star Wars Rebels, dude, go watch that. It's a beautiful show. There are some moments in that's just, ooh, baby, ooh, baby. But yeah, like
the Obi-Wan stripper pose. Yes, absolutely.
But you're right, okay, so here, a little foreshadowing here. We'll watch this scene real quick, and Maul's like, what the fuck's going on? And this is beautiful.
That's why Obi-Wan is like one of the best Jedi of all time, dude. He's so good.
Just outsmarted Maul.
He's a Padawan, dude.
Yeah, really. And then bye-bye. See you later. But it's so poetic that he would grab Qui-Gon's saber to defeat him. It's and we'll get more into Maul's fate a little bit after this. But like what you were saying, with Darth Maul, that should and could be his end. And like for this saga, that is his end, more or less. But it is like it works on a lot of levels, right? Like his story ends here, and this is all we need to see of him. If you're just going to watch these films, just watch the Skywalker saga. That's all you really need him for. But then there's this whole other saga that goes on with the Siege of Mandalore and Clone Wars and everything else. And it's like, it's like almost smart that they brought him back, but in a different capacity. Because there's been a lot of people talking about like they should have brought him back for episode 2 and episode 3. And I kind of get where you want to keep similar villains throughout something like this. But at the same time, he can go on and still have a story, but just in a different... Yeah, Dark Jar Jar. But he can still go on and have a different story, and it just works in a different place. It's
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. A lot of this shit, man. I just think it's so intricately woven. Like this is what inspired the MCU, man. And if you think that stuff is gorgeous, you gotta re-examine the prequels if you're not a fan, because the story is beautiful. The overall story is beautiful.
Well, what's great is, yeah, like you said, you can, if you want to just look at Palpatine playing hard to get with Anakin right there, where you can go in. Oh, there's another where you can go in and be like, you know what, I only want to watch the Star Wars movies, like the main movies. I don't want to get invested in the rest of the stuff, and you
Yeah.
can, and it's a complete story, and it's fine. But if you really want to know more, there's so much more out there, and you can really appreciate it, and get really a deeper understanding.
There's a
You
lot
know,
of
like-
levels. Yeah.
Yeah, like how does Qui-Gon, or how does Yoda know to become a Force ghost, or like Obi-Wan, or Obi-Wan too,
Yeah.
like sacrifice, like how does he know, like all these different things, it's cool.
I love this scene. It sets up such a different Yoda that you almost like, and I mean most of this movie does too. But at the same time, it's not totally different. But you think about it in the context of the original trilogy, in that he's being fussy to maybe just be fussy, to like give Luke the boost that he needs. But it's like, nah, he's kind of fussy like all the way through this. Like,
Yeah.
Yoda's a fan favorite, but like, should he be? It's kind of a douche.
Well, also, I mean, Yoda is an homage. Like my film professor in college would always say that Yoda is an homage to, well, because George Lucas loved Akira Kurosawa. Like,
Yep.
he loved
Seven Samurai
films.
and
That's where the Jedi
yep.
came from. They're the samurai, right? And Yoda, I can't, and I should know this, but the older actor in the Kurosawa movies, he's a lead in Akiru,
Mhm.
but generally speaking, he's usually the sage and wiser person.
Yeah.
And he always does this movement where he like kind of brushes back his hair, and you see Yoda do that in the original trilogy. But
And who won at the end of this day? Like, the Jedi didn't win. The Naboo people, the Gungans, nobody, the Trade Federation, nobody won except for Palpatine. Palpatine is the ultimate winner of this, and it's just like John Williams just beautifully puts this in the score.
this is great, though. It's a great scene, it's a nice homage to Episode 4.
Yep. And little Annie's already got the Padawan rat tail.
Yeah, Nick, exactly. They're saying the master or the apprentice, and they go.
What'd you think?
I just went on to Letterboxd. I gave that movie a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
4.5 out of 5. Okay. So what is the half? What is the half point? Where does that? What's missing for you? Is it Jar Jar?
It truly is Jar Jar. I think Jar Jar is a huge detriment to the movie. I mean, that's what separates it from being like perfect. I love everything about it. If he was just if the character itself was less racist,
fair.
and just a better character overall. But like everything about the movie from start to finish, you start off in the Trade Federation ship, and then ending out with Naboo, and that final scene, that climax, come on, that is so good. I mean, it still is the second best of the prequels. It's not better than Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
But it is definitely better than Attack of the Clones. Because you
Oh,
don't
okay.
get that. You don't get that. I mean, and I get why it's awkward, but you don't get that awkward romance of Anakin and Padme.
And Padme.
Which is just,
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. that's a fair critique. I actually, not that I necessarily like this or that I like it more, but I am a big fan of Attack of the Clones for whatever reason. It might just be some sort of childhood, like, drawn to it favorite movie as a kid, but like, yeah. Nick Rondon says the movie held up well within the times. As I'm older, I'm more intrigued into the politics of the entire universe. Yeah, you know, I think that is one of the things that George was actually thinking about. Like, I think he did. A lot of people think that he didn't understand, like, that the audience had aged, but I think that all the politics was for the aging audience. But I think that he might have aged maybe a little more quickly than maybe some of us did, at least at that time. But the politics are very, very interesting. And, like, to be perfectly honest, I almost don't think that they go into them enough in the Phantom Menace, because you kind of, like, you watch that and you don't get enough backstory and explanation around the politics. Like, the politics are just in it, and you kind of almost don't totally get the full picture.
Yeah, no, I think that's why I gave it such a high rating too. Just really delving into that world and, you know, watching it again and again and again and again, and knowing, you know, what comes of the Star Wars story. Like, even like, so what? Okay, let's like translate this to the original trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I could be wrong in this, but like, a lot of people at first didn't really like Empire Strikes Back, you know, because you're like,
yeah,
oh my god, you know, I get this reveal that Darth Vader is Luke's father. What the fuck is going on? I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. This is stupid. Like, I need explanations. Then you get, you know, more, and you sit on it, and you're like, wow, this is actually the best Star Wars movie of all time. But now, and I'm not saying Phantom Menace is by any means, by any stretch. But now when you look at it, right, and you go, wow, Palpatine forced everyone's hands to put him in that position. It's cool to see that, and the plans kind of coming to fruition, where you see Palpatine like being like, "Oh, a surprise, but a welcome one." Shout outs to prequel memes, but you know, he's like, "No, I know that I knew this was gonna happen." So it's cool, you know, it's awesome.
He's playing chess. He is masterminding this entire situation. It's crazy. Nick says, agreed, we came into a spot where things are halfway in motion and there's no background, but it is a Skywalker story of the downfall of the Republic and eventually the Empire. Yeah, man, and that's why I kept bringing up, like, the book Queen's Peril, because they do a really good job of trying to flesh out a lot of the situation and what's going on. Like, you don't see it in the movie, but the Trade Federation just showed up out of nowhere, like, before this movie starts, and they just tried to force Padme into signing a treaty that she like had no business signing. Like, there's no reason for it, and it gives you a lot of background into what's actually. Like, ooh, man, that is. I did not pick up on that stuff when I was a kid, or like how deep that is, and now it just plays like just extremely well. And given all of the other stuff in canon that I've gone through, it's just it's powerful. And like, maybe he should have walked away. Maybe in that moment Qui-Gon should have just left the Jedi Order, stopped dealing with the Sith, like let Naboo figure themselves out and just go away and train Anakin. That honestly would have been the right thing for the galaxy.
Probably.
Oh man. All right, so we have to we gotta map out these duels real quick. One of the things we were talking about in the stream, if you're just joining us, we just finished Phantom Menace, watched it all the way through, and one of the things we brought up were kind of the top 5 best duels in Star Wars, and I think we gotta try, if we can, to like map this bad boy out. So chat, please let us know what your top 5 lightsaber duels are in Star Wars. Come up with a definitive list right now. So Mike, what are the top 5? Maybe let's try to narrow down what the 5 are, and then maybe we can try to order it. You got anything?
Fine. Okay. So are we talking movies and shows?
Yeah, I'd
Right.
say pretty
Yeah.
much the majority of like the films, the animated shows, live action show. You know, Mandalorian, I guess in theory counts, even though we didn't really see a saber on saber fight. But yeah, we'll stick to those. We'll keep the books and the comics out of it, and we'll keep Legends out of it as well.
All right. I mean, so I think number one is the throne room duel, which I kind of said before, so
Yeah.
no surprises there.
So,
But top five, oh man,
so we got Throne Room. I think we're probably gonna
Throne
put the one that we just watched, the Maul
Duel of the
versus
Fates.
Duel of the Fates. So Throne
Battle
Room,
of
Duel of the
Heroes.
Fates, Battle of Heroes, Mustafar.
Mr. Part, yeah. I mean, I also loved Episode 5. You know, Luke and Vader there too. The whole thing from the carbonite freezing chamber up until the reveal
Sure.
of Vader being his father.
So we got that one. We have Ahsoka and Maul in the Clone Wars.
Ahsoka Maul. Yeah, that was good.
We'll do we'll throw in Maul and Obi-Wan from Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of throwing out all the options here. Are there any other saber fights that we think should be mentioned in this? Because I can't think of anything that stands out for me in the sequels. I mean, you don't really have a saber on saber fight in The Last Jedi. You have one in Force Awakens, and then you do have one in Rise of Skywalker. I would probably take the Force Awakens maybe over the Rise of Skywalker, unless you disagree, Mike.
No.
Yeah.
Because okay, Force Awakens. When I watched that for the first time, when Rey force pulls that lightsaber
Mhm.
and activates it, I cried. I legitimately cried. Like I was tears, full on, big baby. I was like very emotional. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
And that was also because of Star Wars route, right?
Yeah.
You're like, wow, I never thought I would get more Star Wars.
It's finally back. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was huge on a personal level for me, and that's why like I can't really dunk on Force Awakens as whatever it is, but like that was awesome, especially because it's
Mhm.
like Kylo, this emo baby, just killed Han.
Han,
Like,
yeah.
come on, like what, like Rey is coming in, and like Rey's just this random person coming out and just taking the lightsaber and being like, you know what, I know the Force, and I'm just going with it. I'm surrendering myself to the Force, and I'm going with it. That's why I loved it so much. It was cool.
That is true, isn't it? Like, because that is a theme that I've noticed so far, at least in a lot of the canon material, is that, like, Master and Apprentice, Qui-Gon really urged Obi-Wan to surrender himself to the Force when he was fighting. And then, like, Obi-Wan kind of, like, felt this completely new, like, ability when he just kind of let himself go to the situation, what was going on. So, yeah, if you want to, like, people are talking trash all day about Rey in the sequel trilogy, but she didn't have enough knowledge to just not do that. She had to do that. And that is kind of an element of that scene I've never thought of before. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah. So you got that one. We got the Force Awakens fight. And then I guess the other ones, they just came into my head. I can't believe I forgot about them. But, like, you have Yoda versus Dooku, and you have Yoda versus Palpatine in the prequels.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
what
you also have Anakin versus Dooku after Obi-Wan goes down.
yeah,
you know?
that whole scene, yeah, right? Oh yeah, in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Attack of the Clones. Yeah.
Attack of the Clones.
Well, also Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
I
Yep.
guess
Yep. Yeah, I
that's
guess
pretty.
I guess I was kind of counting the whole Yoda fight with like the before with Anakin and Obi-Wan as kind of one deal. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot more stuff. What are your feelings on those Yoda fight scenes? When you first saw Yoda flash his saber, what were you thinking? Were you like about it or were you not about it? Because I know that there's some people who didn't really love how they had Yoda fight in those scenes.
Oh man, how can you not freak out when you see Yoda just take out the lightsaber and you're like, we're about to see Yoda do some shit.
And he's flipping, and it's incredible. There's also really no other way for Yoda to fight, right? Like, people who knock on on Yoda doing flips and stuff. It's like, how else is he gonna fight Christopher Lee Count Dooku? Like, there's just no way.
The man's a goblin, dude.
Yeah.
He's a goblin.
Is he just gonna hack at his ankles? Like, what do you think he's gonna do? Oh.
Yeah, Nick said Ahsoka Maul, Duel of the Fates, final Luke versus Vader, final Obi-Wan versus Maul, yep, and final Obi-Wan versus Vader. Final Obi-Wan versus Vader. Alright, so Nick, you would say, would you put that above Battle of Heroes, where I'm saying like Obi-Wan versus, well, I guess Vader. You want to be a nerd.
Yeah.
Like
we should be.
You know, it is Vader. It is Vader, but where they're on Mustafar. Cause I mean, the duel in the Death Star in Episode 4 is also great. You know, because you see that like that's what being a Jedi is all about.
In its own way, yeah.
Greater good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Steve, original Luke Vader, Episode 5. Yes, that's fantastic. And yes, Anakin and Obi-Wan were both in that in Phantom Menace.
Is that what he was asking there? That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, I think Nick's list right here, if that is actually the order, is pretty close. I think that those are the fights I would go with. Maybe throwing in one of the Yoda fights, maybe. But
yeah. So Nick's saying the symbolism with Obi-Wan knowing it's his time needs to go. Yes, I agree. That's why I could potentially give the edge to that over the Mustafar fight, right? But
yeah, because of that. And I do think that there is a lot, like, the Mustafar fight is really good, and I think that there are a lot of elements within that fight. Like, a lot of people talk about how it's just, you know, that like the twirly lightsabers, you know, moment between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're like, it's just kind of ridiculous. But it really isn't. Like, there is a lot more to it, and that's what happens when you have two accomplished sword fighters go up against each other, is they're going to do moves like that, waiting for an opening. So I think that there are a lot of elements underneath it. But I am a fan of moments like A New Hope, Vader versus Obi-Wan, or the Obi-Wan versus Maul at the end of Rebels, where it is like, it's not about the fight itself, it's about all of the things that are going on, like, inside their heads and underneath the surface of the actual fight itself.
yeah. And Steve, were you saying no General Grievous in top 5? No. I would say no, because General Grievous runs all the time. He does not really fight, except in the original Clone Wars cartoon, the Gennady, I can't remember, Travasky, they got the Dexter's Lab,
Samurai Jack version, yeah.
Yes. That General Grievous, when they are in the when they're in the downed ship, and there's the Shaggy Jedi, and I think it's, I'm I'm pretty sure is Shakti is not in that, but Kiadi is, and there's a couple others, but where General Grievous comes in and he kills 4 Jedi in a matter of seconds. That is awesome. But
yeah, we really don't get much of that outside of that original Clone Wars, right?
yeah, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, in the new Clone Wars show, I don't think so.
Not
I mean, he's
definitely not to that
okay.
level. I'm really interested in going through the whole thing and rewatching it again now with that in mind. But yeah, not to that level, no. And like,
Because he's an ominous, like, badass where he's like, I have all these Jedi lightsabers, because I killed them, and this is why, you know. But now I'm a coffin asshole who runs at the sign of a lightsaber.
yeah, I didn't necessarily want to maybe include him in the list because it's like there's something almost maybe hollow about it to a certain degree, right? Like he has lightsabers. They are technically lightsaber duels, but like he's not a Jedi. He's not a Sith. Like, I don't think I would include any of his fight scenes, no matter how good they are. He's a crazy cyborg. That's not. Well, I guess Vader is too, right? That was the whole point of putting him in the movie, was to kind of foreshadow what Anakin would become.
Like, his fights feel like battles, whereas the others feel like duels.
That's
You
a
know?
good point. And that probably goes back to what I was saying earlier with like the subtext of it all. There's just not a lot of emotion or subtext or necessarily a lot of deeper meaning like some of the other lightsaber fights are.
No.
Like it's just kind of he's a bad guy and we have to defeat him. You're right. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think Nick's list is good, though. I think Nick's list is very good.
So would you put
I might.
what is your
put-
ranking, Mike? Let's give us your official 1 through 5 ranking.
Okay, I'll do 5 to 1
Mm-hmm.
for the suspense. I would say 5 is Ahsoka and Maul, right?
Okay. From Clone Wars.
And-
Yep.
Yeah, from Clone Wars. And then 4 is Luke and Vader in episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 5. 4 is man, this is tough. I would say 4 is the Obi-Wan versus Maul final fight.
Okay.
3 is Duel of the Fates.
Yep.
2 is Battle of Heroes, and 1 is the Throne Room in episode 6. I would have to say.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much there. I might bump up the no, I think I would probably stick with your list. I think that's fairly accurate. Chat, what do you think? Do you agree with Mike or do you disagree with Mike on his ranking? But I think that's all, and that does play into that continued, like, the emotion's all there, right? Like, the story and the emotion builds with your list. Like, they start off, you know, not that there's no emotion in, you know, at the end, towards the end of your list, but it is like, I think it just builds up to next level stuff to where that final number 1 spot, baby, that's probably the most impactful, most emotional lightsaber fight I think we get in Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, and you know, it's not to say General Grievous isn't cool. He is cool. He's awesome. Like, he's so cool.
But that's kind of like where he is, though, right? Like, I almost feel like Grievous is cool, but like the other characters are almost like they almost transcend cool. Like, they're more than cool. Where Grievous is just like, neato. That's nifty. And these are like characters who are fleshed out, and we have so much more with them than with Grievous. I mean, I don't necessarily want this, but like, give me a Grievous prequel show on Disney Plus, and I'd be okay with that.
Well, dude, Grievous is an obstacle in the story, whereas these other characters are part of the story. You know.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And it looks like Mike agrees too. That's a solid list, Mike. I agree. Luke versus Vader is number one. Yeah, I would say Luke and Vader is number one.
The chorus, you know, is so good. Yeah, it's just so good. Can't wait to watch that. Oh man.
We're definitely going to be getting to that soon. So yeah, I mean that's definitely one of the loose ends that we had from watching this thing that we wanted to discuss. But Mike, let's we'll start winding down now as we're reaching 11 o'clock here. But let's last final thoughts.
Wait, I'm sorry. Steve Roach here. Stephen Roach is he said he feels like he's been voided. He said
I said Grievous.
He said I'm sorry. I had to bring attention to that.
Steve, you're completely valid. We agree. If you're a prequel fan or if you're a sequel fan or a sequel hater, we agree with all viewpoints. But you know, yeah. I just think continue to watch these with us, and hopefully maybe we can inspire just a touch of difference in the Grievous. Nah, Grievous is cool, man. He's cool. He is awesome. But I think, like we were saying, like Mike said, he's an obstacle where the other lightsaber fights that we get are more plot driven. Like they actually have development of the plot and development of characters and movement forward of characters, which I think for me, the times that I get lost in not just lightsaber fights, but in any sort of fight scene in general, be it Star Wars or Marvel or Die Hard or anything else, it's like when the story isn't being moved forward with the fight scene, it just means so much less to me. They're cool, but they're not. It just doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me like Duel of the Fates or the Maul versus Obi-Wan on Tatooine at the end of Rebel Season 3, or towards the end of Rebel Season 3. So, all right, as we're getting to 11 o'clock now, thank you guys for putting up with us for so long. Thank you for sitting through all of the little technical difficulties and stuff. We're still figuring this thing out. We're still rocking and rolling. We are going to be getting a bunch more content and doing a bunch more of these live streams and stuff. So definitely like and subscribe, do all those YouTubery things so you can keep up with all that. But Mike, before we kind of wrap things up, let's kind of go over some stuff and like overall thoughts, final thoughts for episode 1 before we kind of dive into everything else. So like, this is our a prequel to the rest of the prequels. Before we get into Attack of the Clones, what are you looking like connections between this and Attack of the Clones? What are you thinking? Final thoughts final thoughts on Phantom Menace, and then what are we looking forward to? What do you like to see? What are some of the connective tissue that you saw here that we might be seeing in Attack of the Clones?
All right, so final thoughts. I think it ages very well.
Yes,
definitely ages well. It is a fantastic starting point to what we're going to see. It is very, if you look at it in a kind of like a controlled vacuum, right? It's like a very, it's very minute, the actions that happen. You're like, okay, who's this random dude, this senator from Naboo? What is he doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can see him putting the places. He's like, look, I'm putting this knight over here to the right. I'm not gonna do anything with it for a little bit. But I'm creating tension. I'm creating that thought that's still there. He's inviting the Trade Federation in here. He's also pitting the Naboo against him. He's pitting the Republic against them. He's making the Federation feel ostracized. And you see the Nemodians, right? And then you see the I can't remember the name of the planet, but or the species, but it's the three-eyed guys. And I remember the Gran, I think is what they're called.
Oh
Or the
yeah,
character
yes.
called Gran. You know, you see them agreeing with which they'll play a part eventually with
Mhm.
them, but in any case, you can kind of see him like literally saying like, "I'm planting the seeds of doubt, and like this is
Mhm.
gonna take some time. It's not gonna be immediate." And then, as we know, Attack of the Clones, when that comes out, you know, Anakin's already like what, like 19 or something, or 16, 17. I don't know how old he is, but
He's up there, yeah.
yeah, but he's
He's at
in there.
least in
But
his later teens, yeah.
yeah, but you see, time has passed, so you know, I think people can tend to be like, "Wow, this is like a sudden change," but it's not. Like, there's time. Like, time has progressed significantly.
Hmm.
You know, like there have been some much more unrest, and there's been some disputes, and yeah, it started off with the taxation stuff, but it's much more than that. And I
Hmm.
think you can really go into it and think like, yeah, there that is just one piece, but there's definitely a bigger picture going on right here. So I think it's
Sure.
integral. I think it gives us the idea that there is an unrest formulating here, bubbling, and then it's going to, you know, explode, and
Burst.
it does, obviously.
With
So
Jar Jar nominating good old Palpy as the supreme.
emergency powers, right?
Yeah.
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 But yeah, that's you know, that's I think it's again, it's integral. It's very important. Um, it's a great movie, man. It I'm not afraid to say it. It's a great movie,
Yeah.
definitely.
On rewatch, man, this thing has held up so much better than I necessarily maybe would have even thought. And like, to be honest, you know, I think like a lot of us, we fall into that prequel hater kind of thing, you know, and you can laugh about the things we don't like, the things that maybe aren't as great as say the original trilogy stuff, but I think that the overall story here is just beautiful, and there's a lot of things going on that when you're just in that prequel hater mode you're not thinking about. So there is so much beauty in this story. And I think that this thing plays for me, you know, going through Canon right now with all of this Canon collector stuff, all the plot summaries and reviews we've been doing. This thing plays incredibly well. And if you are a Canon fan and you want to go through the rest of Canon, please do so, because I honestly think that has heightened my experience in watching this film. Um, it everything that they've set up in all of these books, Dooku, Jedi Lost, Master and Apprentice, Queen's Peril, all of the comics that I've read, like almost everything that I've gone through helps set something up for this movie. And if you have any doubt or you have any question on the validity of some of the story, or your feelings towards it, like, go, if you have the time or you have the energy, go and read and consume all of that media, or go and check out our plot summaries, because I think it will help your appreciation of this film. Overall, this thing, I honestly laughed at a lot of Jar Jar stuff in my first couple recent viewings of it. Maybe not so much tonight because they've kind of worn off, but when you're away from it and you come back to it, man, like, oh my god, it's honestly funny. I think that some of that stuff's actually good. I don't hate Jar Jar as much as I maybe used to, but that could be chalked up to things like actually getting to know Ahmed best as an actor and liking him. But anyway, Mike, what are you looking forward to as we're going to go and kind of, there's a couple more things that we're going to be doing on the channel. The Obi-Wan and Anakin comic, and then the Queen's Shadow book about Padme and her handmaidens, the first book in the series of Padme novels. The second one was that book, Queen's Peril, that I was talking about earlier. So we're going to experience those on the Canon Collector channel, and then we're going to be diving into Attack of the Clones. So from this movie, what are you looking forward to seeing in Attack of the Clones? And you can be kind of spoilery. I hope everybody has kind of seen it at this point, but what are some of the threads and some of the things that you're interested in Attack of the Clones? Some stuff that maybe you saw here that ties in there.
Well, I'm excited to see Palpatine more in Coruscant, in that kind of sphere, and seeing what he does. But also excited to hear more about the I don't know, you say Kaminoans,
Yeah, Kaminoans.
right?
Yep.
With with Master Cypher Diaz and kind of hearing
Yes.
about that and going over that because I'm good with the like, the action and stuff, like the Geonosis stuff, like that's great. But I
Mhm.
want to hear, now that I've seen all that, I want to hear more about the behind the scenes stuff, and um, so that's what I'm looking forward to. In terms of Canon Collector in general, I am very excited to hear um, more about Thrawn, but that's
Sure.
that won't tie into the movies at all. I love Thrawn; he's cool, so I'm all
Yeah.
here for that.
It's all like a side, like tangential kind of, just off to the left of the screen here. This is Thrawn doing his thing and, interacting with Palpatine and all that. So I'm very, very excited to get to that. Mike, you've dived into Dooku Jedi Lost a little bit, right? Or have you finished that audio drama?
I didn't finish it. I got to where they were at the funeral for his mother.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, where they're on the moon, and
Yep. The funeral moon.
that
Yep.
yes, that's where I got to. I don't know why I stopped listening to it, but that's where I stopped. Oh, because I was driving to work listening to it, and then I stopped going to work because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
So I didn't even think about picking it up again.
Definitely.
But
I highly recommend if you're interested in Sifo Dyas, and this goes for everybody else. If you know of Sifo Dyas, maybe you've seen a little bit of the Clone Wars, and that towards the end of the Clone Wars series, I think season 6, we get a little bit of Sifo Dyas stuff. But if you're interested in Sifo Dyas, go check out Dooku Jedi Lost, and I know that probably where you are at that point. You know a little bit about what's going on with Sifo Dyas, but the ending of that story. Or not necessarily the ending of that story, but as you go through the rest of that book, there is some really great Sifo Dyas stuff in there. So if you guys are getting geared up with us to hit up Attack of the Clones, go check that audio drama out. It's available on Audible. There's also a hardcover version, like a hardcover book version of that, or you can go check out our plot summary and review of that. There's a lot of great stuff in there. But I, as well, am very excited to kind of keep going with the Sifo Dyas train, because I think he is one of the most, like, not necessarily underutilized, but in the current expanded canon in the books and the comics, like I could just get novels on novels of that guy. Like, that is such an interesting plot point.
absolutely, yeah.
So definitely go check that out. Go check out the rest of the Canon collector stuff if you're interested in kind of gearing up towards Attack of the Clones. We're going to be doing that fairly soon. That's probably coming up pretty quick. So we're going to have to figure out some technical stuff here. If anybody has any ideas or comments, please let us know on here. Message us, or you can hit us up on Instagram at Canon Collector. We're on Instagram as well, and we post up a bunch of cool stuff there. We have a bunch more of our Star Wars playlists that we're going to be throwing up there. We started doing that a little while ago. We're putting up some cool watch orders for you. So, for example, we just kind of started off easy and did the release order of all the films, what the release orders are. So if you're new to Star Wars, you can check out that cool little post that we did, or you can check out things like the Machete Cut. The other stuff that we've done are like all of the Qui-Gon stories, all of the Darth Maul stories, all of the stories involving the Darksaber. So you can go through and kind of do these other little binge watches. That's one of the cool things I think about Star Wars, is that it's so vast and so interesting that you don't have to just watch the saga films, man. If you're looking to do a binge of something, you don't have to just watch the saga films. You can go and you can experience all these cool little other sides of Star Wars. You can go check out stuff about the Darksaber. There's so much content just on Darth Maul, just on Qui-Gon. So go check that out. We have a bunch more coming. We have Every Time That I Have a Bad Feeling is mentioned. We have one on Kid Fisto. A bunch more. There's a ton. If you guys have ideas, please let us know, because we'd love to make one just for you. But Mike, any other final thoughts that you have, or you think we're pretty wrapped up for tonight on the Phantom Menace?
I think we're wrapped up, man.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely talk about it more when we go to watch the rest of them. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely, man. I think that this thing plays really well. It plays a lot better than I originally thought. And with the rest of Canon, I think that it works really well. So again, I challenge you all to go check out all of the other Star Wars canon material, all of the books and the comics. Definitely go check those out, because if you're interested in any little aspect of Star Wars, there is a book or a comic out there for you. If you'd like any suggestions, please come and hit us up. We would be more than happy to give you recommendations. Like I said, go check out our Instagram as well. We are going to be doing more of these live streams as time goes on. Me and Mike we're working on a podcast right now, trying to get some stuff together. It's a pretty cool idea, and I think we're pretty excited about it. It's got a little bit to do with some fan fiction kind of stuff. Creating Canon is the name of the podcast, but we will have more information on that as we start to get to work on it, which hopefully we'll be doing pretty soon. We also are going to have a bunch more plot summaries on the channel. We have a couple other cool videos in mind, and we do our gaming live streams on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to come check those out. Like I said, more live streams on the way, more videos on the way. We want to thank you all for checking out this stream tonight. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you guys putting up with all of the technical difficulties and spending your time with us, spending your Friday night with us, a nice COVID night in watching some Star Wars. We'll be doing this again very soon for Attack of the Clones, so please make sure to like and subscribe so that you will be kept up to date on everything that we're doing. Thank you guys so much again, and we'll see you next time. May the spires keep you, and may the Force be with you. See you guys.